Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 Build a Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. It's part 111 today and we are back for two games in the space of just 48 hours. Firstly, a trip to rivals Bala on New Year's Day as we look to try and wrap up the Welsh Premier League title early. And then secondly, the much anticipated game against Larne. It's been postponed due to a waterlogged pitch 3 times. And now on the 3rd of January, after the rest of the competition is basically done, we're finally trying to catch up. So if you're looking forward to that one, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. You got a sneak preview of who we've got in the next round of the Europa League now as well. A side that we've had a famous night against before, so I'm sure that will feature heavily in the next episode too. But if you want to stay up to date, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. Loads of playlists and a link to the food channel up in the eye above and to the Twitch channel in the description below. Thank you so much to everyone who supported the watch along streams for the Euros. We've had a great time, we've hung out and had good fun while doing so. And hopefully we'll have many more to come over the coming weeks. So thank you for the support. Thank you for watching as always. And with that, let's go and get into a hectic New Year schedule. Because we only played 2 days ago. We've basically got 3 games in 5 days. It's an astonishing record. We have had a brilliant December. We have had a brilliant time since you were last with me. And I'm pretty sure, as you can see, there's one result that stands out more than the rest. So Treflin was a 6-0 win away in the Welsh Cup. Nobody was surprised by that. Duffy with a hat-trick, Anderson, Loza and McKenzie with 1 each. But then we beat Atletico Madrid by 2-0. Now they were playing a very rotated side. They'd already got through. But Kane Waters and Harvey Lloyd produced one of the most famous displays that we've ever seen at the racecourse of Wrexham. As we got a victory, and for the coefficient for everything else that goes with it for Welsh football, that is going to be massively beneficial. I just want to see where they are so far this year very quickly. So you can see this year already we've picked up 5.375 points, which is what we got last year. And if we can then somehow get a result in one of the legs against Leipzig, we beat last year's performance. The ones that are coming off the next 3 years after this year are all in the 4s. So if that 5.375 can be replicated, we'll start to edge our way up. I know we're due to fall behind Poland this year, but we are due to go ahead of a couple as well, and we get very close to the likes of Denmark and the Czech Republic and Greece. All we've got to do is maybe get one more win in the Europa League. We'll see if we can do that. Following that, back to domestic action though, we got a snuck 3-2 victory at TNS. It was McKinnon, Broom and Loza who got our goals there, as each time TNS just tried to peg us back and make it a grandstand finish. But 3 more comprehensive wins followed. Firstly, against Larne Town, Duffy, McKenzie and Loza with those. 2 red cards in the second half for Larne. We finished the game up against 9 men. A 4-0 win just after Christmas against Colwyn Bay. That was the home fixture with McKinnon, Broom and a Matty Whitaker brace getting the goals. And then away against the same opponents 3 days later, it was a Walters hat-trick and 1 for Matty Whitaker again. He seems to like playing against Colwyn Bay as the centre-half. The problem we've got in this one is that we've got to play our reserves against Bala, because against Larne we've got to have our first team back, and the other boys have played 2 games in 3 days, so they need one off. So Bala is going to see us play a very rotated side. Let's go and get into it and see how we get on. We will also have a look at our youth intake preview. That will be between the 2 matches today. And for those who are watching the Euros watch along streams on Twitch, you'll know exactly why our background is completely different to normal. But the lineup we've got, it says a medium match load, but I'm not here to take risks at the moment. You can see 5 of our first 11 already received offers, and the January window only opened 19 hours ago. So let's go and rotate this 11. We'll pick our backup side, and we'll be back in a moment to confirm it for today. Okay, this is the 11 we've gone for. On a quick side note, we have got Peter Holding back from his loan spell now, but I'm thinking we're going to loan him out again. So as a result, I'm going to get him tied down to a new contract. I'm not going to play him here, because you can only play for 2 clubs for a season, of course. So I don't want him to be restricted out of a move and then stuck with 1 or 2 appearances here. So the lineup in full for today is Joshua Pugh, who has overtaken Ratcliffe as backup keeper. Morgan and Boyce the fullback with McKenzie and Pasiarek in at centre half. Malone in the holding role, Anderson, Bulkley and Jones the rest of the midfield diamond. And then Loza and Duffy up front, even as our backup strike partnership. What's that, 56 goals between them already. Add that to the 11 of McKinnon, the 41 of Walters. We're in some position. The 2 loanees are on the bench with all the backup and youth players, mainly because I think that Wells is the most likely to be recalled and McKinnon is the freshest. So that's the 11 and 18 for today's game. Now let's see if it can beat the rivals Bala. Well, 11 changes for us today. Humphrey's the skipper now for Bala, a former one of our youth players. Hamer was one of ours last season, he got released. So a few players we recognise in that side, mainly from our youth academy. And that's possibly a sign moving forward of why our development of youngsters is so important. Because they are sort of providing the spine of every team in the bottom half of this division now. As we get early on with a free kick 25 yards out, if someone's going to take this of any quality, I'd imagine we might score. Loza's the man allocated. Oh, good save by Geraint Jones. We've seen a few free kicks go in this season, and that was nearly one more for the young Croatian. As Jones has got a chance to take a long kick. Goes over the top, but I'm hoping it'll be a Bangor City head first. It's not, and it's fallen to the left-hand side for Jones. Bala really looking to make this count early on. We've not been quite as solid defensively this season. We've let in the odd goal here and there. As Pasierek heads to Loza, and now Tom Jones. The counter's on, it's over the top to Duffy. The league goal scoring record for the club, and this time on the rebound he puts it in. The keeper saves the first, but the defenders are nowhere in sight. And Joe Duffy, despite being the fourth choice striker at this club, continues to be amongst the goals consistently. What a player he's turning into. Now let's see if we can build on this early lead. As we've got a free kick again, deep ball into the box. Mackenzie finds Duffy's head, but it's just straight at the keeper. The long clearance only finds Bulkley though. He gives it to Morgan Boyce. Back in after his injury troubles, through to Duffy again. It's just over the bar via the keeper. It's a corner kick for Bangor City. It's been a really good first quarter of the game. And Bulkley can cross again into the front post. Headed behind for another one. The pressure mounts. We keep the ball in the box. We're not letting them out as Bulkley into Pasierek. Headed wide again. Bulkley should get there first. He can deliver it again, but instead goes back to Mackenzie. Are we going to find a way to create another chance? Malone now in the holding role. Back to Mackenzie again. Still sort of up from that corner, but eventually it peters out. But we're back immediately with a throw on the right for Gwyn Morgan. Anderson plays a 1-2 with him. Chance to deliver. Tom Jones is in there. Smashes the crossbar. Duffy knocks it back to Morgan Boyce. And his shot is low and driven, but it's not got enough power. And Jones is able to deal with that in goal. Already man of the match in this game, the Bala keeper. So it's a throw on the right for Cooper, which Bulkley nicks. Doing really well in this box-to-box role. Gets it forward to Joe Duffy. He's in one-on-one again. Beats the defender, beats the goalkeeper, and smashes it into the roof of the net. 2-0 Bangor. It's a brilliant display. And Bala Town look all at sea. A wonderful effort from our boys. And another comfortable victory it's going to be. So it's a throw on the left for Morgan Boyce. This is how strong our backup team looks. Duffy gets it in. Hamer heads away. Gwyn Morgan on the right side of the box. Brought down by Jones. Gets it back to Tom Jones. Here's his block back to Gwyn Morgan. And he's tipped behind for a corner kick. It's just a joy to watch at this stage. Our backup team has got half of last year's first 11. A few superstars we've bought in the summer. And it looks absolutely relentless. No wonder TNS can't compete this year. They're averaging 2 points a game. But we've still got the perfect record after 21. As Jones goes long downfield from the Bala goal kick, Mackenzie heads away, only going to reach Cooper, the right back. He gives it to Weaver and back to his keeper, Jones. They look okay in possession, Bala, but they get forced back and then they go long and then they concede possession again. As Bulkley plays a 1-2 with Morgan Boyce, down the left-hand side to Duffy, who's been brilliant all game so far. Just about keeps it in on the byline. Chips into Loza, it falls for Tom Jones. And that time, the goalkeeper doesn't cover himself in glory. I know that this is a weaker opposition than we would have shown on a previous episode, but that's because of the amount of times this Larne game's been postponed, otherwise it would have been a tougher one. But our rivals just unable to compete. It's 3-0, we've got 2 minutes of stoppage time, and it looks like it could be any number we want it to, as Boyce heads away again to Joe Duffy. Through to Jones, who's finally looking good after injury problems. Goes for the shot into the side net in there. Didn't really think about troubling the keeper. But at half-time, it's 18 shots, 11 on target, 68% possession and 3.3 expected goals. Bala yet to have threatened our goal whatsoever. And it's 3-0 at the break. It's been the perfect performance. We cannot be prouder of our backup team. As with an hour on the clock, it's been a quiet start to the second half, but Bulkley puts a free kick in. Mackenzie gets there first, completely unopposed. But he heads it against the corner of the woodwork. So with 25 minutes left, we've got a couple of players on yellow cards, so I do want to be a little bit wary of that. And I'm trying to bring on youngsters rather than those who are going to be good players. So like the Justin Burrows, we know what he can do. So I'm trying to look at which ones are the best youngsters, which have got the best potential. I don't want to take Loza off. For that reason, I'm going to replace Morgan Boys with Stefan Orlik. He's going to switch to right back where he can sort of cover. And Gwyn Morgan will go over to the left. Malone is going to be replaced by Warren Bell. And Lacey is going to come on for Daniel Anderson. 3 number 10s in the centre of midfield. You couldn't ask for more. It's been a great display though. Let's just go and see if we can put some more gloss on it. So we've got a throw on the right with Orlik, the sub to Loza. Be nice if he could get on the score sheet today. Although he has won a red card against his opponent. Wicks on a yellow, just persistently harrying and kicking Loza. And there you go, the red card follows, rightly so as well. It's 3-0, it's game over. And now we've got no threat facing our goal. I mean, we hadn't had one against 11 men. With one up front, it's going to be even harder for them. 10 minutes to go, a confident display. And with a completely rotated 11, it's just about the best you could have asked for. So we've got a free kick again with Kyo Bulkley into the back post to Loza. It's going to be a penalty though. Just looked like it was headed away. But apparently off the ball, Cooper committed a foul. Duffy had the chance with a hat-trick from the spot. And that's why he got to take it ahead of Loza. And it was saved comfortably. Perfect height for the keeper, not a very good pen. And Bulkley will take the corner now. Lacey loses out in the air. Falls for Cooper right side of the box. He volleys downfield. There is no intent to keep the ball and attack from Bala. They're happy it's only 3. We're happy it's 3. And it's a perfect start to the episode. Bala absolutely battered by Bangor City's backup side. And now hopefully in 2 days' time, we'll finally get to play the Larne game. We've waited long enough. We've had enough postponements, enough setbacks. I can't wait to move back into Namport for a start. But let's see if the game actually goes ahead. We'll be back in a minute to find out if it does. Well, for the 3rd time, we have done our pre-match press conference and got ready for the game against Larne. But this time, we get to play the game as well. A few players fit, but I would imagine it will be 11 changes again today. However, I did promise you first we'd look at our youth intake preview. We had the brilliance of Kyo Bulkley last year. We had Tom Jones 2 years before that. We had the likes of Jack Hankin and Peter Holden in the past. People who have contributed to the first team. So let's see if we've got the same this year, shall we? If we go to the youth candidate screen. Oh dear. This is a very poor crop of players, unfortunately. Kenny Jackett is a very good judge of character, so I don't think he'll be wrong. What we have to hope is it's a very poor crop of players with one superstar, rather than just a good team. So there's a healthy number of fullbacks. We have 2 top prospects in the centre of midfield. We have a forward who could be considered a fine prospect. We have 1 good young Welsh striker who has caught the eye. So even if everyone's rubbish, apart from that striker, we could be in business. That's what we're going to look for. I think it's fair to say that anything other than the centre midfielders and strikers are going to be rubbish. And we just have to hope there's one in there. I'm not sure if they will be. We're not going to get a Kyo Bulkley every year, even with the best facilities. But not the best news so far, and certainly not the message we were hoping for. We'll wait and see what happens when March or April comes along. So 10 changes recommended by the assistant. I'll be interested to see which one they've left out. We're going to set our opposition instructions. Who have they not replaced? Mackenzie. It's always Mackenzie and Price they don't change. So I'm going to replace all of the players that played in the last game with all of the players who didn't. We're back to our first 11. McKinnon is now 4.5 star. He's improving very quickly, the wonder kid. However, we've got to prioritise our lineup for today. So Mackenzie and Morgan and Pasiurek, all good defenders on the bench. Malone and Bulkley, good midfielders. Loza and Duffy, good strikers. Tom Jones has got to be on there as well. I think we have to take Duffy out because we don't need 2 strikers there. Bulkley is continuing to improve incredibly quickly. At 16, he's an absolute gem. He's played 25 league games already. Tom Jones has well past the 100 mark now. They're just 2 really top-class players, but Bulkley, attribute-wise, has already almost matched Jones. So I think it's fair to say he's going to be the best one that's ever come through. Gwyn Morgan still looking really solid. We've got some proper good youngsters now. And our academy is producing gems that are going to be involved in those European squads in the future. If we've got those players that are homegrown at the club, makes it a lot easier for this football team. But let's go and get into the second game. Completely rotated 11. It's Wickens in goal. McDonald and Weaver the fullbacks with Price and Whittaker at centre-half. Harvey Lloyd, Broom, Furlong and Wells the midfield diamond. And then McKinnon and Walters up front. Loads of goals in the team. Loads of quality in the side. And after waiting a month and a half from the original fixture, we're finally getting to play Larne. And here we go. John Gregg in charge of the Northern Irish side. They've got some decent pros. The likes of Jimmy Larkin we've popped up against before. Sean McArdle's a very quick and agile player up front. Not the best finisher in the world though. But Larne are going to prove a difficult test. So we're going to tell the lads to do their best. We're going to get into the first half. And after waiting so long, the fans will be buoyant. And I'm hoping we can get a positive result. We'd love to get the SPFL trophy in the bag, because it sort of proves our worth against other UK sides and against the other nation's best teams. And I'd like to be able to come out on top again, as McKinnon gives it to Kai McDonald on the right. Over the top to McKinnon again, into Walters. It is a beautifully worked goal. McDonald getting in on the act, but the front two combining fantastically. And McKinnon, the wonder kid, unselfish again to give Kane Walters his 42nd of the season. As McArdle gives it to Miller, they're straight back on the counter alarm. Give it to McPartland. Through ball to Miller. This could be one apiece. Hits the post. And then McArdle on the rebound has somehow missed it. I have no idea how he's not put that in the back of the net. But Bangor City survive. A brilliant chance for Larne. Clear cut, it certainly was. But they don't make it count. And now we're back at the other end with Broom to Harvey Lloyd. Furlong out to McDonald on the right wing. Gives it away. The back pass undercooked. But the keeper gets there and clears. Whittaker heads forward. Only as far as Larkin. McArdle's been put in. Electric pace. He gets in behind. And this time he does score. Brilliant finish from 25 yards. It was instinctive. When he's in one-on-one, he's thinking about it. He often misses. But that's a great strike. Wickens had no chance. And it's 1-1 after 15 minutes. Larne's certainly giving us a game here. And it's a throw on the left-hand side again for Larne. Our visitors looking really good in this match so far. McPartland cuts it inside to Larkin. And now Patton. Out to Price on the right. But they look confident in possession. They're dragging us around. They're forcing it into the wide areas where we're not as confident. But they make those mistakes. They've given it away. McDonald nicks it. Wells charges forward to Walters on the left wing. Back to Yesden Weaver. Over the top to Kane Walters again. Gets to the byline. There's four in the middle. Wells is one of them. It's a little unfortunate for Larne in that it drops down from a headed clearance. But it was a brilliant strike. And the keeper just couldn't get down to his near post quick enough. 2-1 with half an hour gone. And we've got a free kick with Harvey Lloyd. We'd love to put some daylight between us. As Whittaker heads just over the bar. It almost came. But it's still 2-1. A good performance so far. But Larne have been in this game. And we're probably slightly fortunate to be ahead. But into the first minute of first half stoppage time. We've got a throw in an advanced position on the left. It's crossed into Dan Wells by Walters. And Wells heads it into the near post. Back where it came from. It was brilliant attacking play. And he gets his second of the day. 3-1 on the stroke of half time. The perfect time to score it too. So we're going to go and tell the lads there's room for improvement. Because it wasn't our best performance. As we're back at the 65 minute mark. Furlong's picked the ball up in his own half to Weaver. Broom knocks it down for Furlong again. Big ball over the top which Walters loses out in the air. Weaver wins it again. It's a little bit of aerial ping pong. But eventually Larne come forward with it. Price cuts in from the right. Through ball to Devine. Our defence is all out of shape. And Wickens makes a brilliant save to tip behind for a corner. I'm going to go and make a couple of changes because I'm not thrilled with this display so far. I'm going to replace Broom with Patrick Malone. I'm going to replace Weaver with Gwyn Morgan. And the final sub, I think I have to take Lloyd off because he's on that yellow card. So maybe he's going off for Bulkley and we'll put Malone in a holding role. But it's really not been a vintage display so far. For whatever we've managed to do in terms of goals, well, the rest of the game goes off comfortably. The long-awaited game against Larne is won. Larne had more shots on target. They had more shots. They were arguably the better side from what we saw. But we took our chances. And that's the difference with having quality moving forward. The defence had to be at their very best. The midfield display, it was Dan Wells to the rescue. But it's a 3-1 victory. And we're into the next round. And that's all that matters, really. 2 games in 3 days. 2 comfortable victories. We've got to be pleased regardless of the performances. Well, from one Northern Irish side to another, we've always had difficult games against Linfield and we've got them in the semi-final as well. That one's going to be played on the 15th of February. So again, as we go and praise Dan Wells for his form in front of goal, I think that's going to be sandwiched between the RB Leipzig games, is it? Or just before it? Let's have a look. It's just before the first leg. So that's definitely when we're going to be back for the next episode. We'll hopefully have some little bits of action in the January transfer window. And then we'll have one of Linfield or Leipzig. But whatever happens, unless we win that first leg against Leipzig or lose it by 6 or 7 goals, we'll find a way to show the second leg too. Because it's the biggest game of the season. It's a chance for us to break the Welsh coefficient record in a single year. And my word, are we going to be up for it. But 2 good wins there. We weren't vintage, but with 11 changes for each game, we couldn't expect that. If you did enjoy the episode, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 videos. You can catch up with all the playlists in the eye above. A couple of Euros themed things as well. We got the sticker book and the Scotland mini-series too. There's also a link up there to the food channel, and there's a few football links over there as well. Finally, the link to the Twitch channel is in the description below. We've got loads of Euros watch-alongs, and thank you so much to those who have supported them so far. Please do come and follow us over there. It does make a massive difference. And I'll see you next time for a big game against RB Leipzig in the Europa League. And maybe another bit of Northern Irish fun. I'll see you next time to find out if we can progress.